this was actually an interesting uh, rescue of, let's just say more than just dogs. We were talking a lot about dogs, but
As fires ignited across LA, forcing thousands from their homes, horses, donkeys, and even a giant pig, all among those also needing to get out.
Yeah, it's time to leave.
This woman evacuated her 175-pound tortoise Tiptoe.
This is no good. This is no good.
How do I get to my house?
In the Palisades, a first responder reuniting this man with his beloved dog.
What's her name or his name?
Tika, Tika, Tika.
And now at the Pasadena Humane Society, an overwhelming outpour. Donations of blankets, food, air filters, so many in the community jumping in to help.
The shelter has taken in more than 400 animals over the past 2 days. Some of them dropped off by evacuees looking for a safe place for their pets, others by Good Samaritans who found them wandering amidst the chaos.
So one of the animals that I transferred out is this cat.
Inside, veterinarians tending to so many animals.
At first, I didn't know where they were all going to go. I didn't know if we had the number of hands to take care of them.
This cat covered in soot, even a peacock.
Any animal that's out there, either owned or wild, we're going to be expecting to see them.
Rachel Meach says she had to come help.
So it's pretty cool to help out and just be a part of this community that loves animals.
A reminder that through the horror, the best of humanity shines through.
People are good. With all the bad stuff that's going on, people are good. And it's great that the community is helping each other.
Liz Kreutz, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about.
All right. Thank you, Lester. Yeah, I was just a sample, and obviously we heard from our friend Colvin there, the man who rescued both Tiki and Oreo. Okay, let's get to Bonnie, shall we? Did you want to do a big build up, or should I bring her on right now?
No, bring her on. I told you,
Here we go.
Bonnie has her ad. If you look at her for X, she's at Klapper Bonnie. She's vegan for the animals and the planet. She also had another way you explained your animal activity. But I have to tell you that when Donnie first we haven't met Bonnie, and we're right here in New York. And when I was reading your Wikipedia page and your page, I mean, you have to look her up. She's an amazing attorney, just an amazing attorney. I mean, she took down a drug cartel. All right. And if she can take down a drug cartel, she can bring attention to the animals that need rescuing, saving, and the animal organizations that help people, like help David Tuckman in this time of need. Just my one little friend to bring this show together to try to say, hey, we have to pay attention to the animals. We have to, know that when you have these disasters, we have to rescue the animals as part of the family. I mean, as you can see, here's Tubi. He doesn't want to really be cooperative. Tubi the poodle. But hi, welcome. Nice to meet you. I can't wait to meet you in person here in New York.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
So I'm gonna disappear for just a moment because I hear Domino, and I think he's gonna get jealous. So
he's gonna bring Domino is his son, dog son. He and his wife Lisa's dog son. Tubi says, "Okay, I've had enough of this. All right, I'm going to see you. Bye, honey." All right. So I know you also had another description of how you describe your animal rights work.
Well, first of all, we don't have any dogs barking in the background because I've locked my husband in the bedroom with all the dogs. So let's make it last 3 or 4 hours.
I love it. Mine keeps coming in like, do you need help? Do you need help?
Well, mine, so I figured it'd be the best thing to have them on the show. It's interesting that you mentioned the cartel work because some years ago I gave a talk about how animal agriculture and cartels are the same or similar, factory farming, big ag, and cartels, and how we can go after both of them using the same tools. But that's not why I'm here today. You've had people like Jane and Donnie, brilliant leaders in the animal rights veganism movement. I couldn't hold a candle to what they had. So if it's okay with you, Linda, I'd like to just focus on the rescue aspect of what's happening.
Absolutely. This is your platform. Go ahead.
Thank you. So as you mentioned, I was a federal prosecutor. About in 2012, I retired and started doing international criminal defense. And then I was fortunate enough to meet Donnie, became a vegan, cut my private practice in half. And now I spend about 50% of my time doing pro bono work for animal rights activists, liberation organizations. I'm a dog lover. I'm allergic to cats. Sorry. And dog rescues. And a little plug here. A couple weeks ago, my rescue partner, Brandy Shervin, and I started our own rescue, Run to the Rescue. We were supposed to fly in 12 dog.
Let's go back. Run to the Rescue. Does it have a website?
Yes, we're Run
Okay.
and the number 2 and then the Rescue.
Okay, so Missy, who's our producer, is going to maybe try to put that on there. Run to the Rescue. Just like to be is to be, as in, to be or not to be.
And well, at the moment, our social media is down because Meta, in its infinite wisdom, keeps freezing our account. We don't know why. But the only reason I mentioned that rescue is we were set to fly into Los Angeles this week.
Oh, wow.
12 dog meat trade survivors.
Oh, wow.
Some people are not aware of the fact that in China and other countries as well, including 2 cities in Switzerland, they eat dogs and they celebrate the eating of dogs. It's not just the Yulin Dog Meat Festival. It's 24/7, 365 days. China's dog meat trade is particularly horrible because there's a belief that the more pain the animal is in when he dies, the better the meat. But we have enough things to talk about. We don't have to talk about that too much. But
wow,
it is. Animals are suffering everywhere, and rescues are overwhelmed and underfunded. People will frequently here in New York condemn the ACC, which is our public shelter. I've read condemnations of the Los Angeles Animal Shelter. What most people don't understand is those shelters survive mainly, but not totally, on public funding, on the cities, the towns where they're located. This is not a moneymaker for the cities and towns, and pretty every city stiffs the animal.
I hear somebody.
Yeah, but the last thing that towns and cities want to spend taxpayer dollars on. So most of these city shelters, including the LA County shelters in Los Angeles, are severely overfunded. And they also need donations. The rescuers are doing amazing work. The rescues are doing amazing work. But a lot of this work in disaster areas falls at the feet and in the hands of these poorly funded shelters.
Right.
So I
know Pasadena Humane said they needed money. They don't need anyone to give us more blankets. They need money right now. They are, and I see that they're doing surgeries and they have doctors that donate time and all. And it's truly amazing. It's something we don't think about, right?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of care involved in most rescued animals, certainly the animals being rescued in Los Angeles right now, are suffering from a multitude of health conditions: burns, smoke inhalation, starvation, lack of water. And these things cost money to treat, and local shelters, government shelters, don't have that kind of money. So if one of the things you want to do is help the animals suffering in Los Angeles, and I'm speaking more of companion animals, not wild animals,
right,
donate to Pasadena, but also donate to the city shelters.
Interesting. Okay.
The water, even before the wildfires. So pandemic hits, everybody's cooped up at home. What do? They buy a dog. Right. I'm board of a few animal rescues. I was on the board of an animal shelter out near where I live. We get owner surrenders day in and day out. Oh, gee, I bought a dog during the pandemic. I have to walk the dog, but I have to go to work.
Yeah.
And they're literally dumping healthy young animals, let alone the old animals that are frequently dumped at shelters.
Right.
So
yeah, I know that was a huge problem after the pandemic. That people just, they think they're buying a stuffed animal or something, and when the need is gone, well, just cast it aside.
I always like to.
Yeah, unlike David Tuchman, who, is a victim of all this, and he and his wife and his kids looking for a place to, as I said, when we started at the top of the show, would try to get them a house, and then the person would donate their house, but the dogs would have to stay in the backyard, and they didn't want that to happen. They wanted the dogs, together running around, and yet everyone's trying to do the best they can. That was a great offer. It was the best they can. But he's trying, somebody took the turtle, somebody took the cat, somebody took the bunny. I mean, it's very difficult.
And hotels, I mean, during Sandy, we were without power.
That's right, Sandy.
7 days. I'm sure you were without power.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wi-Fi.
2012.
12. Okay, so it was bad. And I had 4 dogs at the time. I literally had to drive into New York City to find a hotel that would take my husband, me, and our 4 dogs.
Wow.
Some of them would take 1, nobody would take 4. So, and so with the shelters and the rescues were already overwhelmed. Here's a great example. My coworker recently adopted a beautiful purebred Bernedoodle from a rescue. And when she asked, "Why do you have this dog that normally would sell for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000?" The answer was, "You're gonna love this one: oversupply." Meaning, they're commodities, they're bred, and if there's not enough people to buy, they end up dumped on the streets.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's awful. Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
My Mickey, who's hiding in the bedroom now, is poodle, Bernedoodle. I got him from a rescue, of course. And when I asked the rescue, "Why is he here?"
Yeah.
The said, "Well, he doesn't look enough like a Bernedoodle, so they couldn't sell him." So
and here we are trying to find homes and say here's displaced people, and people are just dumping their dogs. But in California, there are people. Look, we've run like 3 ads with 3 different things showing people like rescuing dogs and trying to get their dogs and all. But then other people leaving their dogs there, or maybe they got left because they couldn't get into the fires. Remember, they were closed off. Another thing, I can't imagine if somebody closed me off and said I couldn't go in to go look for Tubi. I would probably need a criminal defense lawyer. I'd have to call you. Okay.
You'd go in anyway because
I'd go in anyway, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of, that people are either going to do that, unfortunately, and find what they find, or they're going to do something that they might regret later because they're not being allowed to go to their own property.
Right.
I know they were presenting some sort of waivers initially, and then they just stopped doing it.
I think they got overwhelmed. I mean, there's just from the firefighters' perspective, their job is largely to protect humans and property.
Right.
Some are real miracle workers, and they've saved this. I'm sure you've seen all the videos of them.
Right. We ran one of them. Yeah.
But that's not what they're mainly there to do. And so they have to be concerned about letting people back into the high risk zones. Whereas, I mean, any of us here on this program, we'd risk our lives to go in and save.
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
So let me just ask you, because you said, what can we do to let the government, when they're planning on these disasters, have a unit to deal with how you deal with the animals, whether it be the wildlife that's there or the animals that are part of a family? And again, I don't like to use the word pet, but most people can relate to that. The animals that are part of a family, because it's got to be 2 separate things. And what can we do to make the government aware, or to get the units set up within organizations to have them taken care of, so that when they are rescued and go to the Southern California Golden Rescue organization, or go to the Pasadena Humane, they're going there because they have been taken care of.
But they have been taken care of, right? I mean, you look at FEMA; they don't do anything about animals, about saving animals, rescue. I'm not blaming them, but the law, the system is not there. So once things calm down, once we get the humans and the animals safe, once the fires are under control, we really need to start a petition, a letter writing campaign, tell people to contact their state, local, federal representatives, and demand that emergency procedures include evacuating, and even equally important, housing animals. I mean, there are people, as you know, Linda, on the streets of New York who won't go in shelters for the unhoused because they have nowhere to put their animals.
Right. I see it all the time, and I'm always stopping and giving money because I see it all the time. And those animals are keeping them alive.
Yeah, they're keeping them alive.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's vets that actually go into the streets and treat the animals for the unhoused, but it shouldn't be that. It should be that our government recognizes that for many of us, maybe most of us, animals are as much a family member as our mother, our children, our spouse, so our father. So we have to urge government officials to take the steps necessary to have shelters in place which allow people to come in with animals. I understand there's legal risks. Okay, I can't imagine if you are unhoused because your house burned down, you wouldn't sign a waiver saying, I won't sue FEMA if I get sued because my dog bites someone. People will do whatever it takes to protect their animals. So once this is over, that's going to be something I want to focus on.
Great. That's a great thing. That's a great thing, Bonnie, to bring. I really appreciate it. And we really, Michael and I were right in the East Coast. We have to get to know you, but we didn't know
Yes.
you, but oh my God, you just look her up. Just an amazing lawyer. Amazing. And the fact you're doing half of your time now to help the animals. I knew as soon as Donnie said, you haven't talked, have you ever met Bonnie Klapper? I said, no, you have to have her on because she will bring, she'll bring attention to these shelters and all that need help, and to the fact that we need more shelters so that people like Dave Tuckman and his family can go there. And that's why we're trying to do this. We're trying to have this tonight, and then we'll keep rerunning this, and hopefully people will open their pocketbooks to those shelters and their local shelters.
Yeah, and I said it early on, donate to your municipal shelters. Most people don't even municipal shelters are also 501c3s.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Contributions for most of them are tax deductible. That's where the need is the greatest, because for example, there's a shelter out here. It's part private, part public. That shelter must take every single owner surrender.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
who's
Okay.
elderly dogs that need vet care, art pitties, dogs like that are less than adoptable, many of them. So, I always say I'm very lucky. I have my vet is Dr. Alexander from Sag Harbor Vet. I'm going to give him a plug here. He's brilliant. He's vegan, and he also happens to be handsome. So,
wow.
I need.
Good thing you've locked your husband in the bedroom. So that's for that plug.
But like he'll tell me, my patients will complain about the cost of vet care. Most people don't know that the average vet graduates with 200% more debt than the average human doctor.
Wow.
But they don't make nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
And also veterinarians have a very high self-harm rate.
Yes, I know that. I know that because I had a vet down in New Jersey who that was an issue.
Yeah. And why? If you spend half of your career euthanizing animals and part of your career having people yell at you because it costs you, get health insurance. That's another thing I urge everybody.
Yep.
When you adopt your puppy or your senior dog, get health insurance. It doesn't cover the daily stuff, but if God forbid your dog gets cancer or is hit by a car, that stuff gets covered, and that's huge.
Yeah. Yep. Good idea. Good
Great
advice.
idea, Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie, so very much.
So nice to meet you.
Again. So nice to meet you, and hopefully we'll talk to you about some other stuff soon. Thank you very much for helping us in this quest tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.